My couture crafters, hello. Let's get into this technique. This card just goes all over the place and hopefully you'll be able to follow. With this, I'm using the Kaleidacolor, and what you do is you tap and you pull, tap and pull. I'm not going back and forth, I'm lifting it up. I know it looks like I'm going back and forth, but I'm lifting it up each time. And then I'm pulling it towards me, lifting it up, going back to the top of the page, pulling it toward me. I know this looks crazy, and I wanted to re-edit this video to slow it down so that you can see that I'm just pulling in one direction, but it's all corrupted, and that's a no-go. So just trust me, when you are loading your brayer, you want to just tap it on the pad and just pull it towards your body. You move it slightly to the right, slightly to the left to make sure that you don't have any demarcation lines. But other than that, it's really super simple. This is a Christmas tree from Stampendous. It's an oldie but a goodie. And this is a super duper simple card that doesn't require a lot. But brayering is addictive. It's really, really, really addictive. And so you'll see that I just start brayering like crazy. Because this is glossy photo paper that I'm using, supposedly you can brayer on regular cardstock. I don't remember ever doing that. I just think that the results are a lot smoother with glossy cardstock, so that's what I've always used. I'm using Stays On ink with this because Stays On ink goes on non-porous surfaces, so super slick, super smooth surfaces like glass and like ceramic and stuff like that. You'll want to use Stays On ink. Stays On ink comes in a few different colors. I only have the black, and that's all I find myself needing. Here I'm using the Misty because I like to go over it a few times and make sure that it stays in the same place. So yeah, using the little Misty tool here. I prefer the Tim Holtz platform when I'm using rubber stamps because it's easier to deal with, but no worries. So I didn't want to get that background wet, so I just threw some scrap paper in there because I knew I was going to do another tree. Like I said, this gets addictive, and I have a couple of different color sets by Kaleidacolor. This one I think is called Creole Spice, and I wanted to see what it would look like. Here's the thing. When you're brayering something that's longer than the brayer and you start pulling that color, you start to lose some of the colors. So I should have a blue, a purple, a green, an orange, and a yellow. Instead, by the time I finish, I have like a blue to a yellow more than anything. And I didn't love that, but that's okay. And this card just was not screaming holiday. Well, it's not screaming Christmas, it's screaming fall. To clean the brayer, it's really super simple. I just grabbed a baby wipe and wiped it down. It takes 2 seconds for it to dry, and then you can go in your next color. So here I'm just wiping it with the baby wipe. And then I probably brayer it on some paper. And yeah, that's it. So again, I'm trying all the colors. This one here, I think it's called Berry Breeze. And I get all of my Kaleidacolors from Stamplistic. They are my jam. I like them. So for this one, I decide I'm going to pull this direction. Now look, you see how you have 5 colors? But when you're brayering, you lose some of those colors if you try to move the brayer down. So then I just come up with a bright pink and a purple. And that's okay. I don't mind. Somebody asked for these colors on a holiday card, so I'll make a holiday card with those colors. It doesn't bother me too bad. And then to clean off the brayer, I'm just brayering off the excess ink. And I'll wipe it down with a baby wipe and move on to my next one. This is addictive, guys. I kid you not. You're just going to want to brayer all the things, especially if you like ombre backgrounds like me. I'm all about a good ombre. But I was trying to move the brayer the width of the paper and still keep all the lines, and that's just not possible. So here's a fun one. I think this one is a rainbow one. And I decide I want to keep all the colors for this one. So I start off the paper and just start pulling toward myself. Off the paper, pull all the way down, lift up, and do it again. So there you can see that I kept all the colors. I didn't try to move the brayer down to the left or to the right. I just kept the colors. And I had a lot of fun with that one. So now I'm going to cut it down to see if I want to make cards with these. I know for sure I want to make cards with the blue one, but these, I don't know, just kind of playing. So see, I'm starting to move this one to the right and to the left. You see how I lose the vibrancy and I lose some of the distinct colors that are in there? Just playing with it. It's so much fun. So I wipe it down again, and this particular set stained my brayer. Not a big deal. That pink doesn't come off, it's just stained. I don't care. It still works. And when you go buy these Speedball soft brayers from Michael's or Joann's, make sure you use a coupon because they are expensive. They're like 20 bucks for that little thing. Maybe 15, $20, I'd say. So make sure you use a coupon. Cutting down another sheet. I'm telling you, addictive. What color am I using here? This is the baby powder color. I used this baby powder stamp set for a card in one of my earlier videos. You might like it because it's kind of cool. It's a layering card that I use with this, and it's fun. So I decided I didn't want to pull this color too far out either. I wanted to keep the colors here, and so I just layered right on top of itself just to make it more vibrant. And this one for sure is called baby powder, and it looks like baby powder. I got a request for a light pastel colored Christmas, so I'll use that one too at some point. And then I get back to the Blue Breeze, and I'm just going to make another card with this one just like the first one. So we just did full circle. Now we're back to the blue, and I'm starting off the paper and pulling toward myself. This goes so quick. I'm going to blend it all the way on this sheet, so I'm going to lose some of the color. So it's really just going to be light blue blend to a darker blue. You're not going to be able to see all 5 colors in this. See? And it is blended. I wanted to super saturate this card, so I went over it a few times to see how much ink this cardstock would hold. And boy, did it hold a lot of ink. And this is pretty dry after you finish. So see, I covered the entire piece of cardstock, even though the cardstock is larger than this brayer. The smart thing to do would have just been to cut cardstock that is the same length as the brayer if you don't want to lose all these colors. This is also a great technique if you want to do scenic backgrounds. Because if that doesn't look like the sky, I don't know what does. So I'm using StazOn again. This is just a small brand new StazOn. I shouldn't say brand new, newer. And they come in these little squares. StazOn has a distinctive smell that I just love. I don't know what it is. It's like a cherry kind of smell to it. Love it. So then I'm just going to go over it one more time. I love how this black stands up against this background. Just a nice, simple silhouette stamp. For the card, I don't do much to it. I just throw some diamonds on it and post it on and then just post it on a regular base. And I liked it. So for the rainbow one, I decide, okay, I want to do some of these Christmas trees by Simon Says Stamp. And they're funky and they're geometric and I like them, but I didn't know what I was going to do with them. And then it came to me, let's use the rainbow paper. So here I'm just laying all of the little trees, all different kinds of directions so that I can get multiple colors on each tree. And then I'm going to stamp it and then die cut it. So these are what is this set called? I think these are called Color Me trees. And they're just so cool, so geometric, so modern. A real modern take on a tree. You could do this stamp set in just black and white, and it would be so interesting. So I'm throwing down some magnets to try not to get the paper to just come all the way up. Because these are brand new clear stamps, they are very, very sticky. And I did not prep the paper with anti-cling static or anything like that. I just put it down so they stick. And I mean, they stick good. So I'm using archival ink here. I could have used StazOn, but I don't really love using StazOn on clear stamps if I can avoid it. And the archival works just fine too. So yep, we are stamping that, and then I die cut it like I said. Then I tested a design. You see that? Hideous. I hate it. So we'll just move that to the side. moving back to the Christmas tree that I don't hate. So if you see one of these goes dark to light, the other one goes light to dark. I used a gray base on one. I used a white base on another, just changing it up a little bit. This is a square card. I think this card is 5.5 by 5.5. And I left a larger border around the sides. Usually I just leave an eighth around the sides. This one here, I think I used a quarter inch around the sides, which is just a different design decision there. So for the gray, I decided that I wanted to do the sentiment on white paper. So that white paper there will go on the inside of the gray card. Here, I'm just grabbing some super inexpensive jewels from the Eyelet outlet that comes to the Scrapbook Expo. These are so old. These are not the most luxurious little enamel. They're not enamel dots. They're the half back pearls. They're just in black. Now you can do the half back pearls from Michael's that are in the pearl color. And the cool thing about the pearl color is that you can color them with your Copic markers any color that you want. So say you had the pearl ones and you wanted them to be red or green, just color it with a Copic or a Sharpie, any alcohol based marker, or even your alcohol inks. You can just drop a couple of dots on there, or you can apply it with your foam, with your felt applicator to change the color of them. I keep a lot of halfback pearls around in case I need to throw some embellishments together and I just need to change the color. It gives you as many options as you have alcohol-based marker colors. But for this one here, I just chose to do the black. And I chose various sizes. You see that the sizes graduate from small to larger. I tried to keep the larger ones at the bottom and then the medium ones in the middle and then this tiny one up there at the top. And I like it. There are the halfback pearls that I was talking about that you can color, but instead I just grabbed these super inexpensive flatback rhinestones. I think I got these from the dollar store. I'm almost positive. They are not luxurious by any means. They're not the Swarovskis. They're just some very, very, very inexpensive halfback black ones, and they just finish off this card nicely. I thought about putting a sentiment across the front, across the top, and the top right, but nothing made sense for me for this card, so I just left it simple. Sometimes you can just leave things simply. This is a very, very, very simple card to make. It doesn't take a lot to do it. I have the Kaleidacolor Brayer, I have the ink pads, but you can do this with just regular ink pads. Load up one side and then load up the other. There are plenty of videos about brayering backgrounds with 2 ink pads. And in essence, that's really all you need because you see, I really lose a lot of the different colors that we have here. So I'm going to open it up and do a sentiment. You guys know all of my sentiments this year are from this Alta New Blessing set. I just love it. It has some of the warmest, sweetest, nicest sentiments ever. And it has a ton of them and in various sizes and shapes and things. So I don't know exactly which one I chose here, but it's one of the ones from the Blessings Alta New set. For the sentiment, I'm inking it up with my VersaFine Clear. It gives you nice, crisp, bold impressions every time. And I guess I used another one. I guess I'm trying to use all the sentiments in the set. So I chose 2 different sentiments. So these are not identical cards as far as the sentiment goes. And I'm drinking up all the tea in my 2015 Disney World mug, which is ginormous. I only like huge mugs because I like a lot of tea. So I'm putting this down just so that the sentiment really pops. And then I will stamp right on the white cardstock. I love tea, guys. Love it. And there we go. So I just plop those back on after wiping them down with a baby wipe. Then, you know me, all cards must have a matching envelope. So right now I'm thinking about what I want to do, wiping that down with a baby wipe and then scrubbing it on the the little pad there and plopping it back on, and we'll put that away. And now we're thinking about the envelope. This is a 5.5 by 5.5 card, I believe. So I cut it down to the specifications. I chose to do a black envelope for this one. So I cut down 2 sheets of black cardstock to whatever the specifications are for a 5.5 by 5.5 card, which are in the envelope punch. Love this punch board. I get so much use out of it. I mean, obviously I'm making a ton of cards right now, but you slide it down to the first number that it indicates, and then you score it. Punch it, then you score it. Then you turn it, then you punch it and score it. Punch, score. Punch, score. And that one's done. Punch and score, punch and score. Nice and easy. For one of these, so just because it's a square, don't think that all the sides are created equal, because they are slightly different. And one of these, you'll see me screw that up. It's not so bad that I couldn't fix it. It was just, now we know. I'm looking to do a mask here. I wish I had cut this down even smaller. I left more room because I thought I was going to do some lettering of some sort here. I'm not. I'm just going to put a label in the center and move on. But it was a nice thought. It was a really nice thought in theory. I wish I had cut that down smaller than it is. But I cut 2 down the same size. Whatever size that was. It was nothing that serious. I just wanted to make it small. But I should have made it smaller to decorate the envelope. Again, all cards must have matching envelopes for me. So the best way to do this is to stick your envelope this direction in your Tim Holtz stamp platform. And then you can rotate the platform to be straight, or you can line it up however you want to. But you want to see, I rotated so that it was straight to me. And then I placed that however I wanted it placed. Love this platform. There are other ways that you can put it in, but this way I don't have anything underneath. I don't have anything folded underneath the envelope. So here you want to give good pressure. I put this down with a repositionable adhesive. You see that right underneath there, it didn't get a good stamp. So we're going to stamp it again so that we make sure anytime you have a sheet of paper on top of a paper and you're stamping, it's going to be very difficult to get an impression. So make sure you perform some serious CPR on your platform. Again, this is a repositionable adhesive, and I'll put it down underneath it after I drink up all of the tea. This one I think is a little bit smaller, so I'm just centering it. I'm eyeballing it. I'm not measuring. And I'm inking up with Versamark clear embossing ink. And I'm performing some CPR. You see I'm on top of it. I'm pushing, trying to get a good one, and I still didn't get the best. There we go. It's very difficult to stamp on top of 2 pieces of card. So then when you peel it up, you just rub off that repositionable adhesive and it's gone. This is Perfect Pearls by Ranger. I'm having a lot of fun using this year on my holiday cards. All you do is take a small amount of powder and just brush it on with the brush that comes with it. It's a fluffy brush. And it sticks to that powder and it dries, and you don't have to worry about it coming off. It binds to it. So again, I'm just dropping it on there. And I thought I was going to do some kind of lettering in between. And again, I'm not. I'm just going to put a label right there, I think. And send it off to whomever's getting it with a nice seal on the back. So you just dust off the excess, and then we have an envelope that matches. Is this the one that's funny? I think this is the one where, yes, see, it's funny. It will still work. It will still close. It's just odd. Here's one that I got right. So when you are putting this in your stamp platform, fold down your edges first and make sure you know which side is up and which side is down. And there you have it. That is the card. I hope you enjoyed it. Nice Brayer background. Thanks for hanging with me.